I just shared with Kristen that when I was 40, I stopped being able to walk. And I found out that my back had been broken from abuse when I was 2. And over the years, the vertebrae in my sacrum had eroded till they were jammed together. They were pressing on the nerves so that my legs were collapsing. I was told by the professionals in the medical system that there was no solution except to do intense physio every day and mind the psychological trauma as well. And with both of those things, I'd be able to function, but never be able to do more than I was in a limited physical form. I couldn't bend, lift, or twist for the rest of my life. And if I was really careful, I wouldn't be collapsing my legs and I wouldn't be in constant pain. As she heard this story, we were both teared up about it. And she asked me if I felt any pain now. I'm 8 years on the other side of the surgery that actually ended up fixing my back. I kept my heart open to the notion that there could be a true, full 100% healing and a reclaiming of my health. I photoshopped a picture of my back so that I could look at it every day and believe that there might be some chance of it healing. Then one day at dance, when I say dance, I would go to this type of dance where I was allowed to lie on the floor and move my arms around to the music. And as I was just getting into lying down, I felt a hand on my back and I painfully jumped. And I heard an angelic voice that said, "You don't have to live like this." I was shown that there was a surgery that was possible, and I erupted in tears. I spent a year calling surgeons asking if they would do something, the surgery that I saw, and they all said no. It sounded crazy and could have me be in more pain than I already was, maybe even paralyze me. But one surgeon eventually said, "Not only will I do that surgery, I do that surgery. I've pioneered it." 6 months later, I had that surgery, and 12 pieces of metal went into my back, and I'm 2 inches taller. And that was 8 years ago, almost to the day. So when Kristen asked me if my back still hurt, I said, well, there's a presence of it there, but it's nothing compared to what I lived with my whole life. And she said, "How much presence?" And I pushed into my leg to feel how much I felt it, and then I pushed into her leg. And she said, "That's a lot." And I said, "It is. It seems so small compared to what I lived with before. If you ask me, I'm totally healed, and it's a miracle." And then we decided that whatever's going to happen next, she had some ideas for me, and that we should get in front of the camera and film it. So that's where we are now.
Yeah, so I was asking Sophia if she has tried having a conversation, a connection with the metal that's in her body and her bones to see if they could work more harmoniously with each other. So, have you tried doing that?
No.
What does it feel like to you when I say that? Do you feel like there's a possibility there? Is there a receptivity to that? Not from you, but just
from my body. I feel a vulnerable feeling of wanting to cry, similar to when the angel put their hand on my back and said, "You don't have to live like this, there's a solution." It brings up immediately, like, I've so accepted this and I didn't even think anything of it until you asked. And could it be better than this? It makes me feel elated of the possibility because it feels expansive, which to me means it's true. And then when you say, "Can you tune into the metal in your back?" I am like blissed out at the notion of trying.
Wow. Yeah. So to give some context, Sophia is very practiced, many years practiced connecting with angels and using the guidance and having conversation with the angels to make choices in her life. And so this is the framework from which we're having this conversation. And I had asked if she thought it was like muscle tension and kind of constriction around the surgery site that was kind of like an compensation for the surgery and her back history. And she said no, she felt like it was more the bones themselves. And so that was why I had asked her if she had yet connected with the metal in her back and the bones, because there's a consciousness in everything, and we we can work together to be able to be in more harmony so that you can work with things like chronic pain challenges.
Yes, when you asked me, I didn't know the answer. I asked the angels and they told me 20% of my ever-present pain is from the muscles and 80% is from the metal in the bone. That was the answer they gave me, which also made me tear up because I didn't even know that. To discover these dimensions in myself that I just live with, that I could die with. And yet I'm 50 years old now, and I did the very hard work of going on that journey to heal myself, and it's so much better than it's ever been. I didn't even want to believe or think to ask for more. And so to know what it is, that first of all, to even know that I have a pain that's chronic that I didn't even know about. I just thought that was normal. It happened when I was 2, so it was really bad my whole life, and now it's so much better. To find out I have a chronic condition still, to know what it is from the guidance I received, and that you just instantly gave me a tool that maybe I could work with it, I feel like overwhelmed in a beautiful way right now.
Yeah, I think especially when there is a situation like Sophia's with your surgery where foreign objects, we'll say, are introduced into your body, to remember that they could remain as foreign objects, or a relationship can be built with them. And actually what's coming to mind right now as well is tumors. And when we are having where our body, it's maybe not quite as foreign in a way as a metal would be, but there still is this a separation, where it's like certainly working in disharmony in a way with the body. And so when there are these things introduced, that there's a way to be able to come into relationship with them, where there's a conversation that can be had to be able to see what can be done here, that we can create a more harmonious relationship, a more harmonious ecosystem to be able to alleviate potentially any sort of chronic pain that is occurring.
So should I give it a try? Okay.
Yeah. If you're willing.
I'm so willing. It's just such an interesting feeling to feel like, if you asked me, I would say, oh my gosh, I'm totally healed and life is perfect and my body is perfect, and it's not. And I just makes me wonder how many things were we just born with that are so normalized that we just deal with.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it's, it's this painting
Yeah.
that forever goes on and on of our lives.
Yeah.
Where we get to make choices each step along the way to come into this further expression of beauty and alignment and harmony and
wholeness, like you say, wholeness.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, what do I do?
So I would say for you to close your eyes like you're doing,
okay,
and just check in, like go there, like go to the metal and go to your bone too. Do both, and ask them if there's anything that they want to share with you.
I have a lot of emotion coming up. It's reverence, though. It's reverence for this journey I chose, that I designed this kind of challenge to overcome, and all the gifts it gave me of my strength and my abilities, and the abilities of divinity working with me to create miracles in a way I can never forget, because I see the scars. And I feel like when I tune in, I feel like the bone and the metal feel like two soldiers. They feel like soldiers that took up this mantle, I don't know if that's the right word, but like took up this mission and have been soldiering and rocking it. And I love them, and I'm grateful, and they're powerful, and they're also not living. They're consumed with the job that they believe they're here for. So they feel like hardened soldiers.
Yeah. The word that's coming to me the whole time you're sharing is softening. This is an opportunity for softening.
You sat up straighter when you said that, I felt.
Yeah, it's like the next, it's like a graduation into the next, it's an invitation into the next aspect of wholeness and healing.
Oh, I'm feeling relief in my back. I feel like such a release. Oh my God. Whew. It feels like it's been like this, and it just went like this. Oh, it's so much of a release I would never in a million years have imagined. Wow. I'm blown away.
I think there's a way that you can really welcome the metal as part of you.
The soldier imagery comes back. The metal's been welcomed as a soldier, but it needs another identity.
What comes?
A picnic. Like they're not soldiering. Like the imagery I have literally is bone and metal, and marked like together as a united front in front of a fortress of like a fortress of a town that is protecting, and they're outside and that's inside, and their job is to be out here. They can't go into the town and enjoy it. And what I saw is the wall melting away, the town melting away, nature blooming, and them sitting together, lying together, spooning, having a picnic.
Lovely. Amazing. So with that as the sentiment, what happens?
I feel like I'm here to enjoy life, not soldier through life. I'm here to cherish and exchange love and connection, not accomplish a mission. The accomplished the mission made it tighten up again. I'm so imbued with purpose that it's like a rigidity on my spine of like what I came to do, and I can't turn my back on myself or my purpose or my calling. There's a bit of a warrior feeling, one that my mind doesn't accept it. My mind says that's not what I came here for, but my back says that's what I'm here for. And now I'm just letting that picnic take over my whole spine, the back of my head, the bottom of my head, like where my spine meets my neck. It's like my skull feels like it's softening into a picnic. And that feels all soft. Now there's a hardening in the bottom of my spine again. It's coming back. I feel like I'm looking at the picnic and like a rain cloud is coming and starting to pour on it. And it's panicked. Like doesn't know what to do, doesn't know where to go. Feels unprotected in harsh conditions.
I have two things that are coming to me. One is asking if it's okay if I put one hand on your lower back. Does that feel okay for you right now?
Yes.
Okay, and the other is talking with the bone specifically, connecting with just the bone.
You?
You.
Me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the third party witness of your hand is interesting. Okay, and I'm going to talk with the bone. Okay, and like I'd give it voice, like what it would say to me if it could have voice.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you hold back? Why do you not live life with wild abandon? Why aren't you creating bigger things? Why aren't you calling in bigger love? Why do you think you're not going to be supported? It feels like it's very relieved to say those things. Do I answer that?
Does it feel more connective to you right now to answer that, or does it feel more connective to be a listener and a witness to those questions?
For some reason, I feel my higher self coming in, and me being a witness to my higher self answering. Okay. Yeah, I guess the best way I can describe what I feel like I'm going to be surprised by what my higher self says.
Great.
Yeah. The reason you hold back is you don't believe this world is sensitive enough and kind enough and loving enough to actually receive your true, sensitive, expressed nature. You don't doubt you, and you don't doubt your intentions or your abilities or what you could create, but you doubt the world can meet them, co-create with them, handle them, receive them. And you've been shown a lot of this because a lot of the world can't, but a lot of the world can. And it's time to pivot from the bullies and the naysayers that dominated so much of your early life in so many ways, that helped you grow. It's time to turn towards the beauty of possibilities of these 8 billion people that are beyond what you know, and to, like you held out and received the surgery that was what everyone said was impossible, there was a possibility outside of all the world that you knew. And there's people outside of all the people you've known that you can be fully yourself and express with, and you need to call them to you and welcome them when they show up. Definitely the pain has been being unsupported by the world that I know in many ways. And a disbelief that there's other forms of support out there that could actually support me. Yeah, the pain's pretty intense right now. What do I do next?
Ask the bone and the metal if there's a way that they can be in relationship with each other that's different right now.
I see the metal giving its strength to the bone. The bone is fragile and compromised incredibly.
Is the bone willing to be receptive to that, or is there resistance to that?
Resistance.
Okay. Can you ask the bone what that resistance is?
Everyone says that they can be supportive, but they can't.
Some doubt.
Some experience.
Some experience.
Yeah.
Is the bone open to receiving the metal in a different way than it has, with the idea that maybe it actually can be fully supportive to it?
Yes.
Is there a certain preference that the bone has that it would like to request of the metal?
Don't impose your nature on me. Offer your nature in ways that work for my nature too.
That's beautiful. Yes. Okay. So I think an alchemical process is needed right now. Perhaps with your higher self, perhaps with the angels, that works with the metal to shift the energy that it's been outputting to be a nature that is much more aligned, in line with what the bone is requesting. It's not pushing, it's not pushy, it's not aggressive.
Or just different. Like it's almost like not better or worse or aggressive or unaggressive. It's more like it's a certain puzzle piece and I'm a certain puzzle piece. And it's not turning itself until our puzzle pieces click together. And I'm already my nature, so I'm already oriented as my puzzle piece, and it's nature too. But somehow it's like I can't move to it, but it needs to move to me.
Yeah. I see this sort of liquid metal.
Like it can flow around, but I can't, so it needs to find its way.
Yeah. It's melting is the visual I'm getting, this kind of melting and dripping down and fitting so that it can fit in a very soft sort of way, that it can meet the piece with perfection.
I feel it happening. Yeah, it's like its molecules are becoming naturally aligned, even though it's, yeah. It's like its energy is taking on the feeling of being nature rather than metal. It's remembering it is nature.
Yeah, exactly. That shift, that identity shift.
It came from the earth. That's a piece of earth in my back. Not hard, cold, foreign at all. It's feeling a lot better. Yeah, a lot better.
Maybe having a quick connect with the muscles around your bones as well, and just inviting them to soften as part of this, as this process is happening. Seeing if there's a receptivity to soften.
I feel 4 muscles around it that also have felt like their job are to be like the springs in a trampoline.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? We can stop doing this? What?
In a really gentle, right? Gentle ease. You're often saying, not crisis, right?
Do things with consciousness. Do things with consciousness, not crisis.
Right, so let this be one of those things so that your back doesn't have a like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like the trampoline turning into the picnic blanket. Yeah, the muscles feel like they've relaxed into the soft ground under the picnic basket, and under the picnic blanket instead.
Mm. I think this is going to be maybe some gentle reminders of like, oh yeah, I get to soften and have this different relationship between muscle, bone, metal. That's harmonious. They're not the soldiers. We're having a picnic. And if there's any time that the habit pattern starts to kick up of tightening again, which there very well could be, to let that sensation be a reminder to you that there's a choice for a different way, and have a breath that just exhales with your visuals of fortress crumbling, picnic blanket appearing.
Beautiful.
As you move your body, your hips, your lower body a little bit, do you notice any sort of difference in feeling?
Yeah, I feel like my back feels totally released. That pressure that I showed you that I have always isn't there anymore. My spine and my left side of my body feels free. The right side, the right hip, the right back, the right shoulder, the right arm feels all tightened. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's another journey to go on at another time. Like that's the next step.
Mm-hmm. Is that something you're normally aware of? That difference
Often.
Between the left and right side?
Often.
Mm-hmm.
A pinch behind on my shoulder, down my arm, up my back, up my back, down my arm. And it always feels like someone's grabbing me and moving me to where they want me to be, mm-hmm. where their agenda.
Mm-hmm. And are you normally more aware of the pressure in your lower back that you described? Is that sort of the loudest sensation, and then this right side sensations next?
Yeah, and now that one on my back is gone, and so this one's really loud.
Yes, as does happen.
Yes, 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 yes.
The invitation for the next piece. And everyone moves at different paces, and it's really important in this process to be gentle and present and patient. So it seems like maybe pausing for right now and just giving your everything, your whole yourself, your body, time to just have a moment with this shift we've been talking about and you've been experiencing. And know that this is here, and it's just like, okay, I hear you. And we'll get to that soon.
Great. I mean, that's what I learned from the back surgery journey, is that there was 4 years of steps before it was behind me. And every step needed its own time and space and integration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fruitful to go too quickly just because it's there. I've done that many times. And then it becomes a pushing, and that's exactly what we're not wanting to do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like rather go slower and give that extra time to just be sure that there's truly a fully on board receptivity to taking the next step, then get very excited and ambitious, kind of, to be like, okay, there's the next piece, let's go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold the reins back a little bit if you have a part of yourself that's like that. And just like gentle, loving. Your face looks completely different right now.
Really? What does it look like?
How do I even describe? I mean, you really look like completely different to me.
Wow. nothing pensive, like not that same.
There's a softness,
softening, yeah.
definitely a softness.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, it's so different than when I was on my back surgery journey. I was like, something's wrong with me. I need to get through this. I need to get to the other side. This needs to be fixed. This is wrong. And I'm broken until I'm not. And this feels so different. It just feels like, oh, I found a nourishing part of myself I get to receive back. And now I'm going to give this new part space until it's time. And it's the journey. I'm so more into the nourishment, like giving each step like a mosaic piece, giving it all my attention, setting it aside, and giving it all my attention and setting it aside, and letting the picture form and form and form. It's such a different maturity in facing, many layers of recovery, of illness,
when we're fixing, when we're have this mentality of fixing it, we're fighting parts of ourselves, and sometimes that's loud and more overt, and then other times it's more subtle, this quality of fighting ourselves. And ultimately the idea would be not to be fighting any parts of ourselves anytime. And that's like, to me, that's a key part of what the healing journey is. And so it's like, here's this moment, right, where you've done so much incredible healing to get to where you are right now with your back experience. And there's this other piece, right, where it's like, oh wow, there's still this part there's this tension, there's this kind of fighting, I'm calling it, right, where I just feel like mom right now. My mom's coming out, where I'm just like, oh, it's like the two kids are fighting, and it's like, okay, we can bring peace to this argument right now. And they can actually like shift more into their loving nature with each other.
The metal and the bone.
The metal and the bone.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yay. Well, we didn't see that coming, but boy, was it amazing. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Okay. That was awesome.